Well, hello there, and welcome to the Full Quota podcast. My name is Mpho and I've got Tim Delace here with me. This is the place you go to find out anything about South African cricket, right? We are the only ones who are covering domestic cricket, the SA20, the Proteas. We talk about it, and we're your go-to spot podcast for this. Remember, we're on the One World Sports Radio YouTube channel, so please do like and subscribe there. There's a rugby podcast I think that's coming out today. There's a bit of a Bulls and Lions derby that's happening, so please do check that out. We also got the Soccer Cheap Seats podcast as well to keep you company. But yeah, remember SA20 during the little bit of a break in the domestic season to allow those guys to play their. I'm not going to call it a hit and giggle, but Tim might call it a hit and giggle.
No, even I wouldn't. Even I wouldn't. No.
Look, it's not.
Harsh.
Well, look, if you're the Joburg Super Kings, it's a hit and giggle. Yeah, we've been doing interviews with a lot of people in domestic setup. We've chatted to the coaches. Now we're having conversations with the players now. Mid-season 4-day series is in the go, and we've got someone who is quite has racked up some runs for a team that's been promoted. But before we do that, Tim, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, mate. Looking forward to the interview. Yeah, look, I can't complain, dude. I can't complain. Joburg Super Kings lost again, so I'm happy.
I'm not. But anyway, there was a weird moment yesterday because I'm in Sandton. And the game's down there at the Wanderers in like Yalova, Rosebank, whatever that area is. And it was raining there, but it wasn't raining here. And the game hadn't even started. And it was just a weird situation. I was sitting there going, oh, it's like, just play. It's just a small little drizzle. But Joburg has its moments. Luckily, you and the Cape don't get a lot of rain. But anyway, let's talk about the person we have. Tim, you've outdone yourself again. You got us the number 2 run scorer in the 4-day series. How did you do
that? I keep my secrets to myself, mate. Keep my secrets to myself.
Tim, but we always want to... No. All I'm saying is Tim has managed to get someone we've wanted to talk to in a while, but he shall be back soon. He's just gotten off a little bit. Now he's sitting down. We've got Ben Compton from the KZN Inland, who has racked up a few runs. There's an innings of 170 that is quite an interesting one in Potch of all places. There's nothing good that happens in Potch apart from Ben scoring hundreds there. Hi, Ben. How are you doing?
Hey, guys. Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me on this afternoon.
Sure. Thank you very much. Ben, you come from a family with a very famous surname. The question I just like to know is, over Christmas, do you guys, have a mega backyard cricket tournament or? Very
young. But I've actually got quite a small. Yes, I've got you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Sorry, guys. To any listeners, I'm actually being load shed at the moment, so if there is any connection, you know why. But in terms of Christmas, no, I've got quite a small family now, to be honest. Just mum and dad and my sister are here. We've got some family scattered around in England, but it's actually quite a small family.
Okay.
Is this
your journey into into cricket is quite it's been quite a road for you. It's been anything but plain sailing. What has kept you going? Because it didn't take you until you were 25 to make your championship debut. So what's kept you going through all that tough period and to believe in yourself?
a tricky question. I guess the nuts and bolts of it are always had self-belief that I could become a professional cricketer and, try and achieve as much as I could, but yeah, it wasn't plain sailing. Basically grew up here in South Africa and then wanted to try and, follow in the family's footsteps of playing county cricket and then see what else, if anything happens beyond that. But it was very difficult. I got there when I was about 19, and then sort of wasn't in a club really, and it was very, very long road. I studied in that time, so I did try and cover my tracks. If cricket didn't work, it was hard work, and yeah, there were many sleepless nights where I was wondering if I'd ever get the opportunity to play, and but basically just worked incredibly hard. I have a very good mentor over in England who's really helped me, and I think that just sort of trying to show what I could do if given the opportunity. And I think that was the hard thing, because I didn't really get that many opportunities to play second team cricket because, people have their guys, don't they? I mean, if I went to a county and said, hey guys, pick me, they would have been like, well, we've got Tom over here who we've thrown to since we were 10. So why should we pick you, And it's not quite as, harsh as that, but I think you get a picture. And, so I had to basically not just do as well as the other guys to break in, but actually kind of outperform them, certainly trying to get into professional cricket. And that would be by playing county second 11 crickets, scoring heavily in there, and then trying to get picked up from there.
Yeah, it is a challenge, obviously, going there, and they've got their own players and the challenge around getting in and getting your opportunity. But obviously, as you get your opportunity now, obviously you've broken in. How hard was it for you to adjust and to feel as though you are in? Obviously, it's you've built up a really great resume post that, but that start, how was that? Because cricket's inherent game of failure, and you bat at the top or in the top order, so it can get quite hard up there.
Yeah, no, it's very tricky. I'd say apart from maybe India or Pakistan, it's probably the hardest place to bat anywhere in the world. Yeah, I mean, it was tricky. So my first professional contract was with Nottinghamshire, and that's obviously a very prestigious, amazing club in England, held in such high regard. It's at Trent Bridge. But basically, I struggled to kind of cement a spot in the first team, at all, really. So I was kind of in and out and in the squad. And a lot of players will probably tell you that the most difficult place to be in a professional cricket environment is kind of between the two teams, So you're probably scoring heavily in the second team, but you kind of not quite made your spot in the first team. So when you do get that opportunity, you kind of, I certainly felt like I was like batting for my life. I was like, I've got to get some runs here, otherwise I'm not going to be here next week. And that's a pretty hostile, hard place to be. And probably every cricketer's faced situations like that at some points in their career. But, I think eventually not just sort of didn't really work out for me. I didn't feel like I'd got the opportunities I would have liked through no fault of their own. They had their players and they backed them. But, sometimes, so I actually moved on from there, and it was hard at the time and a bit of a blow, but sometimes things happen for the right reasons. And then actually joined Kent that winter, and I think the difference at the beginning of that journey was the head coach kind of said to me, "Hey, Compo, we want you to open the batting. We want someone like you, your style, the attributes and qualities you bring." And I think it will really help and fit in well with the team dominated by highly aggressive right-handed stroke players. I think I'm the only left-hander in the side.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think, when you tell a player, like, there's a role for you here, I think it makes quite a big difference, and I felt much more comfortable much earlier on. And, I had a good start. I was lucky. Well, not lucky, but I worked very hard for it. But I made a very good start. I got 300s in my first three games, 3 innings for Kent. So that kind of jump-started the whole thing, and it sort of helped me relax and settle in quite early on. So, yeah.
Do you know who else did that? Who has that record, by the way? Is it? I have Brian Lara here as well as the first. Yeah, 1994. He scored 300s in his first 3 county championship innings. So, look, I was
illustrious list.
Yes. Yeah.
I think I'm on it in that club, and Brian Lara is probably disgusted that I'm with him there. But yeah.
It just also says that county cricket wasn't back then, was just Brian Lara's table to feast.
I think ask a lot of ex-girls they would say he was just one of the best the world's ever had. So I'm not surprised by that.
Just to put it into context for people, that first season with Kent, you made just shy of 1,200 runs at an average of 54. So you certainly you proved whatever doubts you had that you absolutely do belong in the tops of English cricket. So you obviously talked about the environment and how we know the game's all about environment. Sometimes it's all a player needs. Just needs a different coach, a different place to thrive. What was it like when you started to hear things like there was an opening for England? England might need Ben. He's the sort of player that was it something that would affect you throughout the season, or is it something that, hang on, if I could keep going at this level, or if I could keep being consistent, there is maybe a chance for me?
Yeah, I think it happened quite quickly, to be honest, in hindsight. I sort of, whilst I always felt I was a good cricketer, I'm not sure I'd shown that to everybody. So, when things took off for me in that first season, a lot of people were like, oh, you've come from someone in and out of the first team to now close to playing for England. How do you feel about it? And I sort of didn't really know what to say at the time, to be honest. But I basically said what I'd say now. I think if I look ahead and think about trying to play, everyone wants to try and play Test cricket, but what I'm trying to say is if I put my energy into that, I'm probably ignoring what's in front of me, and what's in front of me is playing for Kent and it's playing for Natal Inland now. So I just try and keep a very short-term focus, and it's a funny thing, if you scoring runs, then people talk for you, and if you don't score runs, then people forget about you. So it's no point trying to think ahead and what may be in the future. I've just tried to be really present and continue to try develop and get better, and then what follows from there is what follows.
Yeah, that's a really good outlook. And before we talk about your move to South Africa, you also had a stint in Zimbabwe playing for the Mountaineers in their season. Zim cricket is vibrant and it's growing right now, and large in part to, I think, the man you played for, Dave Houghton. And how was that experience for you? And what did you learn coming out of there?
Well, I think Zim, I went at the perfect time in my life. He moved on from Nottinghamshire, but it was the winter, so I got to play for the Mountaineers in between the seasons. And Dave Houghton picked me up from the airport and said, Compton, you're going to play some good cricket, you're going to meet some good people, and you're going to have a good time. And I think straight away that set the tone for a very enjoyable couple of months that I was there, and I was just in love with them. I thought it's honestly one of my favorite countries. They're the nicest people in the world, and they absolutely love their cricket, and I'm so happy for some of my friends who've gone and done well. It's a shame in some respects because their talent pool is so vast, and you look at some of these guys and you're just like, wow, you're a good player, man. But obviously Zim's a bit of a turbulent place, so I think the political side of things filters down. They're probably not funded as well as they could be. Grassroots stuff is not probably as good as it could be. But in terms of sheer passion for the game and raw talent, it's exceptional, and Hearts made me very welcome and just love my time there. Yeah.
That's amazing. And if you think about what they've accomplished over the last couple of years with, what the situation is that side, it tells you a lot about, the passion that they have for the game and the talent that they really do have. And yeah, I think world cricket is better with a strong Zimbabwe, because I still like to see the Proteas go play in Harare and play a test match there.
That would be amazing. I mean, all you have to do is go to a one-day international at Harare Sports Club and just see the crowd, how amazed they are, and they just love it. So they absolutely love the game, and I really hope that things work out for them. They've got their core group of players are probably reaching the end of the last few years of their career. Their senior guys like Williams, Craig Irvine, that kind of group. So I'm excited to see what the next few guys can bring.
Yeah, no, they have a lot.
Yeah. Fast forward to, very briefly, really, to the Tuskers. I was notified a couple of weeks before you were going to join them. Obviously, I was shocked, even though I knew of your experience with the Mountaineers. I was not a signing I was expecting. So, how did that come about? Why did it happen? Is it a similar thing that you wanted to just have winter cricket, or what happened?
Well, basically, I don't really want to be in England during the winter.
Nobody does.
So obviously, Durban's where I'm based. My father's British, but he lives here now. Mum's from here, and my sister's from here. So I really wanted to spend some time at home. I think I've probably spent 3 weeks a year in Durban for the last 10 years or something. So I wanted to try and spend some time at home. And Grant Morgan, the former coach of the Natal side, inland side, actually rang me. We sort of talked and we tried to tee it up the year before, but it didn't really work out. So he rang me and basically said, "Do you want to come and play?" And I said, "Absolutely." And then he sort of, I don't know if you guys know, but he resigned shortly. So there was a bit of a like, oh my gosh, what does this mean for me now? But Ahmed Amla's been taken over, and I've really enjoyed working under him. He's a really good man, vast experience in South African cricket, and I've really enjoyed playing under him. And the guys themselves, it's a really, we found it tough probably coming up from Division 1, but from 2 into Division 1. But the guys and their personality, their qualities, their ambition, they're really a good bunch, and I've had a wonderful time.
It shows, look, actually on the field. It is showing. That's good.
Yeah, and obviously coming up is always going to be tough for the team that came up, and they had an incredible season last year. And when we saw that they had signed you, we thought, okay, so now it feels like it's a team that wants to stay, and I'm sure that's the ambition with the team. How have you found the quality of cricket in South Africa? A lot of people obviously like to compare with county, and a lot of South Africans go play in county. But how do you? Obviously, you played here before as a schoolboy, so you probably even know some of the players. But how different is it? How great? What's the quality like?
and I've been very impressed. And it's quite hard cricket. You know, I've sort of been sledged quite a lot. I haven't much in England, but no, I think it's different. It's I've been very impressed. You know, we've played all the Division 1 teams, so you're playing guys who're playing for the Proteas. That's always a nice experience, you know, and you watch them, you sort of make your own mind up about, you know, like how far away you are from them or how good they are, whatever, you know. And yeah, I think the notable thing is the wickets are a bit better for batting out here. And the bowlers are a bit quicker in general. So basically, you'd have a deeper squad of bowlers who are quicker. So that's been a nice challenge. But also, I think the wickets are a little more trustworthy, is a better word than better pitch. So I found that really enjoyable. Guys, I just want to say something. It's some bad news, but I have 3% on my phone and we're out of power. So if it cuts off, you'll know why. But I'm just pre-warning you. I'm really sorry.
Okay. Look, we'll take it as far as your phone goes.
Yeah.
But I think let's just jump. I think for me, like, what were the thinking around about being here? Obviously, you wanted to be with family, but from a career perspective, was there anything that you were looking to achieve?
I wouldn't say I had a specific target. You know, I just wanted to come in. I knew I was joining this team, so I obviously wanted to do well for them. And I knew they were a team coming up from the division below, so I was hoping I could add a bit of value. Yeah, and I think in reflection, we've got two 4-day games left, you know, so hopefully I can get some runs in a couple of, you know, one of those or both of them, and sort of see where I end up at the end of the year. And I think it's been a wonderful experience for me too, just because I felt like I've got better, you know, and I'm a huge believer in players going away in the off season, whether it be a South African go to England or vice versa, because I feel like playing is probably the best way to judge the level, you know, how you're going to develop. And I feel like that's the best way to get better. You know, I've spent some of my younger years in England over the winter, and it was good. You know, you train like an absolute Trojan in the gym, but I feel like I started my career late, so I want to try and play as much as I can, you know.
That's good. That's good.
I suppose on a technical point, when we talk to players here, they all tell us, and we all agree with them, that while what you say is correct, one thing that we need to do, particularly for the 4-day stuff, 4-day cricket, is play more of it. Obviously, there's more teams in county cricket, so there's a lot more. But here, the players feel as if there's too much downtime.
It's hard. I sympathise with don't start, you know. So, for example, if you haven't started the season and you kind of waiting for someone to either get injured or bad form or whatever, and you miss 3 or 4 games, you've got 3 games left, you know, and it's hard to make a name for yourself and make an impact for the team. So I do sympathise. It is tricky. It is tough. You know, I don't know where to point the finger, you know, in terms of why that's the case. I suppose the rise of T20 cricket, I don't know, the SA20, you know, the money coming in from foreign. Yeah, I mean, it's you know, you've seen now with the South African side that's going to New Zealand, it's not a full strength South African side. I don't think that's unfair. And because most of the guys are playing in this SA20. So it's a tricky one. I don't really have the answers for that, though.
No, we've debated this on the show many times. So yeah. The other question for me is this something that you could do in the off season more often?
Yeah,
because that was the other thing we had.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Oh, he's gone. Okay.
Said he would love to.
He said he'd love to come back. So yes. So Kay's an England have a person. We do apologize for that, and he's apologized as well. But yeah, we got 25 minutes of Ben Compton, which I think is amazing. Scoring runs like a machine. And he's a testament, I think, with his journey of hard work and application. And so, yeah, I think KZN and Inland have a guy there, and you can see it with with the runs at the top of the order. We might get him back soon for another conversation, maybe just to
Yes.
maybe at the end, and maybe that's what we'll do just before he starts his preseason that side, just to get a sense of what he's looking forward to in the season, because I do think he, in my head, and I know we couldn't ask him this, but Ben, if you're listening, you are South African and you could have been on that plane to New Zealand and you could have scored a lot of runs. But yeah, look, I understand everyone's got their personal ambitions, and I really do hope that he does get to play international test cricket. I look at the England side right now and you just sit there going, Bazball might just not be working. And they might need a person like Ben. So we wish him all the best. We hope he scores more runs before he leaves, like more centuries, because I think he's got one and he's got like 3 half centuries as well.
3 half centuries, yeah.
Yeah.
He basically scores runs in every single game, bar one at the moment. Every game he scores runs.
Every other innings he scores runs, which is all like either a milestone. Let's just put it that way, right? So yeah, look. KZN and England are still in it, and if they survive, he'll be a massive reason as to why they survive. So really like that, Tim. Really did enjoy that, and we do again apologize for that, but it's podcasting in South Africa. Load shedding, Wi-Fi issues, mic issues, everything that happens. But as always, we brought you another cricketer in this, Tim. I just want to get your thoughts on Ben and what you heard.
Look, it's really good to hear stories of that nature. It's really good to hear about somebody who has had to take the long road. Too many guys, lots of guys that take the easy road and they go straight to the top, and they actually find that it's not actually that easy. He's taken the long road. Gone through the systems, gone through all the different levels over in England. As you say, I hope it comes through for him. It's going to be tough in that Bazball.
Because it's more about strike rates and all of that, and
that is just obsessed with. But look, if they go 5-0 down in India, they are going to be saying we need changes. They're going to be changes. Change is going to happen. So. He's the ideal man. Yes,
he is. Yeah. Because if you look at that Kent side, obviously they had Joe Denley, Daniel Bell-Drummond, Tawanda Muyeye. It's packed, star-studded. And he's holding his own there. So really awesome. And yeah, I think we're just going to end it there. It was Ben. Thank you very much for joining us. Wish you all the best. One thing we forgot to tell him, and he'll probably, is that everyone who's come on the podcast has found a way to represent their country and play international cricket. So he's on the right track. He's on the right track. And so we just wish him all the best. Also for KZN and Inland. We'll be back again on Monday. Gonna talk about how the Joburg Super Kings and the Pretoria Capitals beat each other up on Saturday in the basement dwellers match. But I don't think both of them are going to make it through, which is going to be weird anyway. But SA20's taken South Africa by storm when we talk about all of that and how the Paarl Royals keep on just taking wins. Outside of that, thank you very much, Tim. And thank you very much to Ben Compton. It's goodbye from us here at the Full Quarter Podcast. See you on Monday. And sale kakahiso.